So out of the last few years, we've had things leaked to us in regards to upcoming content for quite some time. That's because of things like Warzone existing, that through line and mark for everything upcoming in Call of Duty that's all been linked together. Whether it's a reveal of a game where files for an event or something like that had to have been added well ahead of schedule, or just things like weapons, operators, and others that we've seen in regards to actual playable content. Warzone has been that sort of unfortunate constant tell for what's upcoming. So with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 being totally independent in nature, not associated with the current build of Warzone whatsoever, we shouldn't be seeing more leaks about those projects, right? Well, kind of, but we're not seeing them from Warzone 1. Today we're breaking down how an unlikely culprit in the official Call of Duty projects is indeed leaking Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 materials. So as we go along, drop your thoughts below. Are you looking forward to anything in particular for either Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2? Any mechanic or weapon that you'd like to see in either of those games? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything Call of Duty related. But that said, let's jump into it. So the discussion sort of catalyst here stemmed from recent leaks and what is likely to be the first of many. We just mentioned it, how natural it was for things to be found easily the last few years because everything had to be passed through Warzone's application, which is Modern Warfare 2019. Pending no major encryption, stuff is usually found and discovered in the game files in mere minutes after updates go out. Data miners that know what they're looking for can discern what's new and what isn't absurdly quick. But if Warzone 1 is a completely independent experience, as already confirmed by the official Call of Duty channels, then where in the world would Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 leaks be coming from if not from something we already have on hand? And turns out Warzone Mobile is actually the source of plenty of what we're seeing in regards to leaks lately, at least mechanically speaking. What's odd is that Warzone Mobile is entirely separate and independent of any current projects. Modern Warfare 2019 and by extension the current Warzone experience, Modern Warfare 2 upcoming, and Warzone 2 upcoming. Plus, it's also something that isn't out there to the general public. It's only in its early closed alpha playtest. So how in the world are we seeing things leak out in regards to Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2? Well, unlike Modern Warfare 2019, we're not seeing everything baked into one gaming experience, where data mining future content can occur, but the same principle is now being applied to things revealed through leaks in Warzone Mobile. It seems like, and this makes sense, but perhaps we didn't consider it, given that we're so accustomed to Warzone as it is now, that we know that Verdansk is coming back for Warzone Mobile's launch, but the mode is being built with Warzone 2 in mind, to launch into the next era of Warzone and to not launch a mode that on mobile would be outshined and outdated in a few months time after it launches with the next experience of Warzone 2. So with that in mind, we have to consider what Warzone 2 is going to be doing, and then it all makes sense. Warzone 2 is being built for Modern Warfare 2, utilizing mechanics, weaponry, locale, and all things that we'll see in the mainline title. So while Warzone Mobile is keeping a familiar locale in Verdansk, the earliest builds that we're seeing here for the closed alpha and private playtests have been utilizing the same basic building blocks that we'll see in Warzone 2 as well as Modern Warfare 2, albeit a little bit more simplified simply because you're utilizing a touchscreen at that point. You're playing on a mobile device, not a console or PC with a ton more processing power, but still, the point remains. And so then when you consider that, the simple explanation of how things are data mined, that then makes even more sense. So while people in the past have pulled from Warzone on PC, they're now doing it from Warzone on mobile. So just a different source, but still utilizing the same sort of principles that applied for what we've seen the last couple of years. Now, what's already leaked already? Because we've seen a handful of things already come directly from this, which is kind of surprising again to consider. And if I'm a betting man, this is still just the first of plenty of things that will end up leaking from Warzone Mobile. Unfortunately, because it is all still early access, early development, these are private play tests, all of what we discuss here is indeed an intellectual property of Activision and the developing studios. Thus, what we discuss can't be shown on screen for you. If there's anything that I can find for reference here that you can check out that's still up, I'll be happy to link it in the description below. But for now, what we've seen out of this is a couple of different things. Number one, we actually saw how dolphin diving will work in regards to that Warzone gameplay experience. We did have confirmed to us that dolphin diving will be returning for Modern Warfare 2 as well as Warzone 2, but we really weren't sure how it would look, how it would play in a gameplay sense. Now, granted, Warzone Mobile is indeed a very early build of the game and is not representative of the final state, so what you see in this gameplay is likely going to change here, become more fluid in nature, become more polished and all that, but it shows us a glimpse of how this will work. Tack sprinting into a dolphin dive, tack sprinting into a slide, it just comes down to what the user ends up deciding to do. One newer feature that really hasn't been talked about is a new mechanic called staged reloads, in which this deviates from what we normally see in terms of reload canceling, because if you were to reload cancel in Modern Warfare 2019, in Warzone right now, in Black Ops Cold War, in Vanguard, if you reload canceled, you'd have to start the entire animation over again if you ended up, say, canceling even just a couple of frames into it. Whenever you swap weapons and then go back to it, that reload animation would start from the very beginning. However, staged reloads allows for sort of checkpoints here, which looks like Modern Warfare 2 will be utilizing, which then allows for, if you end up having to swap to a weapon in that reload sequence, let's just say you get the magazine out. Instead of whenever you jump back to that weapon that needs reloaded, instead of restarting the entire animation over, it will pick up from where that magazine was emptied and left off, and all you have to do is simply add the magazine back into your weapon, so it cuts that reload in sort of half. You end up having it half completed before you swap the weapon, and then half once you swap back, which is a pretty cool way to utilize this, and of course something that is a lot more realistic and a little bit more of a minor detail that can make some major gameplay implications. We ended up also seeing out of these leaks that weapon confirmations have actually been made, as in gameplay for this, players have looted the Lock 9 SMG here, which could be placeholder name, could not be, but it is in line with something that we saw actually in our pre-reveal early briefing with Infinity Ward, that they showcased a few more missions than that of what was shown off at Summer Games Fest, where we ended up seeing weapons like the Lock 9. We talked about the whole weapons list that we have here, with a full list of 37 different weapons, where the Lock variations here were the Lock 56 as well as Lock 16 on top of what we saw. So we saw things like the K-Block, the Bryson 500, M16 Hybrid, Expedite 12, the Pila, RPG, the 1911, the M24, the Kilo, the LMP, the Scar-L, the Benelli M4, the AK-105, the AK-74U, MP5, P90. There's a ton of weapons that we talked about, and it seems like these are already making their way over into Warzone Mobile. Thus, again, in my mind, pointing out that we'll end up seeing even more weapons here come out leaked through Warzone Mobile. And honestly, that's what we can kind of say about everything here. As surprising as it may sound, even if you're not at all interested in what Warzone Mobile may have to offer, it might be worth keeping an eye on if you're interested in learning the most about Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2 as an overall experience, because like it or not, it seems like we're going to see things tied directly together, as Warzone Mobile is trying to jump into the fold with the most up-to-date version of how the game itself will play. So it seems like the future may hold even more here in an unlikely source for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 leaks. So that's where we're going to wrap it up. Just want to fill you guys in here on this, because the last couple of days we've seen some interesting things come out of Warzone Mobile, and not a lot of people may have seen that, because it's just not something many people may have their eyes on. Again, being that it is something that is in private alpha playtest, a closed alpha that not many people have access to, it's very easy to miss these kind of things. So if you'd like to see more coverage here out of this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will, of course, keep you up to date if anything that pertains to Modern Warfare 2 comes out of this. I personally don't care too much for Warzone Mobile, but I am very much so intrigued as to what will come out of it. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What are you guys hoping to see out of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 here? And are you at all surprised that Warzone Mobile seems to be the source for a lot of upcoming leaks in-game? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. We're getting all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and maybe even Warzone Mobile related stuff. Would love to have you in the community if you guys are new. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.